4 days since Iran attacked Israel, will Netanyahu strike back? The UK says he will. The EU says we're on the edge of a wider war. Israel, on its part, is threatening retaliation, but so far it hasn't struck Iran. Instead, it is targeting the proxies and intensifying the fighting with them. Today, we saw rockets flying over Israel. There was a fresh exchange of fire with the Hezbollah in Lebanon. This is near Israel's northern border. 14 Israeli soldiers were hurt in today's fighting. Just like Sunday, it was a drone and missile attack. Yesterday, Israeli forces conducted airstrikes. They dropped bombs in southern Lebanon. They killed 2 Hezbollah commanders. So today, the Hezbollah hit back, and they injured 14 Israeli soldiers. A report said this has made Israeli forces nervous. This is not their first such exchange with the Hezbollah. So what is different this time? The fact that they can zero in on the whereabouts of Israeli soldiers. The Hezbollah are carrying out targeted strikes, and this could trigger a new wave of violence. Israel going after Iranian proxies, adopting a more aggressive approach until the perceived threats are neutralized. And all of this is making the West nervous. Listen to this.
We cannot escalate. We cannot go step by step, answering every time higher to a regional war. I don't want to exaggerate, but we are on the edge of a war, a regional war.
On the edge of a regional war. That was Europe's top diplomat, Joseph Borrell. He says West Asia is on the edge of a regional war, and he's right. What he doesn't say is how the West is pushing the region towards this war by arming Israel and sanctioning Iran. Borrell and his Western counterparts are raising the temperature.
Adopting an expansion of restrictive measures against Iran. I will send to the External Action Service the request to start the necessary work related to these sanctions.
The US and the UK announced fresh sanctions on Iran today. They target Iran's drone and missile program. The US has named 16 individuals and 2 entities. They're believed to be involved in manufacturing the Shahid drones. This includes, in fact, this list includes members of the IRGC, that's the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. What is the goal of these sanctions? To hurt Iranian manufacturers, to reduce their access to global markets. They may find it hard to procure supplies and to sell their weapons overseas. The European Union may follow suit. They may also punish Iran for Sunday's attack by squeezing its economy further. But Iran seems undeterred. Sanctions or not, it is issuing fresh threats.
The
plan of action for True Promise was a limited operation. It was not a comprehensive and extensive plan. Had the retaliation against Israel been a much larger action, then the supporters of the Zionist regime would have seen that nothing would have remained of the Zionist regime.
That was Iranian President Ibrahim Raisi saying Tehran could hit Israel harder. The message is intended for Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. All eyes are on his next move. And the latest report suggests that it could be a restrained operation, something which establishes Israeli deterrence, but also reduces the risk of a wider war. That's what the West would like as well. Although publicly, Netanyahu remains in the combative posture.
I want to make it clear. We will make our own decisions, and the state of Israel will do everything necessary to defend itself.
We make our own decisions. This is what the Israeli Prime Minister said to the foreign ministers of the UK and Germany, David Cameron and Anna Baerbock. They were in Israel yesterday to urge Netanyahu to de-escalate, to not strike Iran. That was their message. And he told them he'll take his own call, like he's doing in Gaza. I'm talking about the Rafah offensive. Despite all warnings from his Western partners, Netanyahu is going ahead with it. Israel has arranged extra weapons to attack Rafah. It's a city in southern Gaza, the last resort for displaced Palestinians. Netanyahu has been planning this offensive for weeks now. The IDF has bought thousands of tents, as many as 40,000 according to one report. These tents could be used to house the evacuees. Israel has also deployed more artillery and armored personnel carriers. There are 1.4 million people in Rafah right now. If Israel strikes, they'll have nowhere to go. Netanyahu is keeping the entire region on edge.